Now the second module is about tools for design thinking. What are the various tools you use for design thinking? So basically in this module we will discuss about the different teams working in different parts of the world or even within the office itself. They are working with in different domains, right? How to collaborate them. For that, what are the tools we have to use, right? Mainly, most of the tools are computer-based tools, right? Are computer-mediated tools, right? So those things we'll discuss in this module. Nishant, can please mute yourself? Hello. So when you are working in a company or organization which consists of a different teams from different domain, right? So they're inevitable that you must collaborate with other people through the collaborative activities such as engineering and design, right? Even if you go to any construction industry, so there will be design engineer will be there, and site engineer will be there, contractor will be there, and laborers will be there, right? So and even only if you consider only any software industry, right? So many times you need to address the customers who are not from India, so from the different country, or even if you have many branches in India, all over the India, in different cities, right? In such cases, if you want to use their expertise, right, you need to collaborate with them in digital space, right? Even in the people who are working in the same company also, they collaborate with each other, right? So many people in single, if you are working on a single product, right? So different components of the product are assigned to different teams, right? So how do they combine their work and they, track the progress of the project? Is through the help of computer mediated collaborative systems, right? Earlier it was only cameras for we were using, right? Now we have incorporated cameras with computer softwares and all. So many times through the artificial intelligence, we can record the video recordings, and we can even save the video recordings in digital space itself, right? So many times olden days, even if you take a photo also, you need to go to Photoshop to get it developed, right? So, but nowadays, because of the advance of the technology, those things are happening very quickly. The success or failure of any project is decided by how effectively they communicate and interact to request information, negotiate, generate ideas, make decisions, or resolve conflicts, right? You can even request for information from the clients, right? What he wants, what he requires, and negotiate if any rates and all financial aspects and all, you must negotiate properly with the client. And you can contact with the design team also to generate ideas. Based on their inputs, you can also make decision. If there are any conflicts are there, through the interaction only they can solve. That is why interaction is very, very important, right? Communication and the interaction. A strong need exists for design teams and researchers alike to be able to inspect and observe team communication early and during project runtime, right? So therefore, you must inspect and observe how team is communicating early at early stage or during the project time itself. So when you are handovering the project to your design team, right? There should be a good communication should be observed between the team members, right? Somebody has not muted itself. Some disturbance is coming. I don't know if it is from my side or your side. Okay. I think everyone is muted, right? Except me. So therefore, you must establish a suitable norms for the communication and interaction during the early stage of the project itself, and this is required during the any time of the project also. However, new techniques are required to efficiently study team interactions during the early stages of engineering design projects. So, it is claimed that, but still we require some new techniques to understand the interaction between the project teams during the early stages of the project. For this one, we can use augmented virtualization and geographic dispersion of team environment, right? So, which is having an adaptive computer-supported design research methodology, which takes the increasing role of online communication into account, right? So, many times what the software what we are using is Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or WebEx or Zoom, such softwares we can use, right? They try to augment the virtualization, right? Some of the softwares, their virtual environment, they try to augment, right? And geographic dispersion, it can connect the peoples located across the world, different parts from the different parts of the world, right? So it will make that they are sitting very next to each other. Even in many TV channel debates and all, you can say people are sitting in different parts of the world, but when you see in the system computer, it looks like they are sitting next to each other, right? So in doing so, such effective communication system, right, which will help you to construct, apply, and evaluate an automated approach to design team observations. Before doing that one, you need to ask some basic questions. What are those basic questions? All design team interactions should be chronologically modeled and must be represented in a computer processable format. Right? You must represent the design interaction in a computer processable format. Right? That should be chronologically modeled. Right? You can make some modules or segments in apps in such a way that so okay, any modification you do, okay, they must save one after the other. The naming should be what are the proper naming semantics to be used. All those things you must decide in advance. Right? So if you look that one, you must see chronological model, right? Even if you say take construction activity, all the interaction, design team interaction must be chronologically recorded. For example, first what we do the earthwork. In the earthwork, then we lay the foundation. After the foundation, we lay the columns or walls. After the columns or walls are raised, above that one you put beams and slabs, right? These are chronological in our this thing, working schedule, right? So such things should be chronologically modeled depending on the particular type of the project. It also should be, it depends on the type of the project or type of the product you are designing. Next, what are the structural and dynamic properties of a software system that facilitate the real-time capture and analysis of design interaction in a technology-enabled environment? Okay, you must also decide the structural and dynamic properties, right? What is the structure of the interaction system, right? In our college itself, we have a SIMS. Okay, it has some different structure to monitor the real-time our work schedule, work progress and all, right? Even if you go to a company, if you are designing, if they are designing something, they have some different structure, organization structure. To that organization structure, they want to dynamically monitor the work progress and the interactions, right? For such thing, they must have a different parameters. You need to understand these things before you go for the design of such system. So whenever we design many IT systems or software system, for this purpose must be designed by keeping universality in mind, right? For example, if you are designing an operating system, right, You don't think that only Indian people use that, and so peoples across the world might use that software, right? So therefore, you are designing such software keeping universality in mind. And there are many certain other softwares are also available, okay, which have been designed keeping universality in mind, right? So to enhance the customers, right? And if you only for local team only, if you design such a software, right? If you want to interact with some person, some other person, right, who is not from India, some other country or something, so he may not be able to use it properly. If you design a keyboard in local language, Kannada or Hindi, right? Some person who is Britain or Americans, right? For them it will become difficult. Any software what we design keeping universality in mind. On the other hand, the systems you need to apply well-defined and precise semantics, the encoding of the design process in order to ensure the validity of its formalization. Okay, depending on the type of the work, type of the project, or type of the product you are designing, you must decide a precise semantics or precise linguistic phrases to encode the design process. Right? If you have a C language, computer language you studied, I think you are studying it right now, or maybe probably next semester you might study. So their C language, that is semantics is different. If what are the statements? Logical statements, command statements are different, right? If you use a MATLAB software, right? So their logical statements and commands are different, right? You need to design a system suitable by choosing a precise semantics, correct word phrases to suit the type of the work. And also you must strike a good balance between flexibility, adaptability, and formalism in design of generic technological foundation for real-time team diagnostics. Your software must be flexible enough for any additional or deletion of the options, few options if they want any features, right? And also adaptability, right? So it should be easily adaptable to different user conditions. So these are some of the challenges in design of this generic technological foundation for real-time team diagnostics, right? So formalism means different company, they have different formalities depending on the organization structure, right? So keeping all those formalities, right? Formalities maybe approval, seeking approval from different authority, or maybe quality checks. So different formalities they might have to maintain their standard of the product. Finally, here we discuss, can this digital trace of communication, can you use it as completely surrogation for team behavior? Can it completely replace the closed group or people near distance? If you are working in a collaboration in a single space, can you completely this digital traces of communication, can it completely replace the team behavior, right? So individually, olden days people they used to meet together, physically interact, but in this virtual communication or digital spaces, right, they may not meet regularly. Okay, will it change it complete team behavior? Or many times many people nowadays they are doing work from home, right? To monitor them and all, right? They may behave differently when you are in front of them, or their behavior is different when you are not in front of them. Such things are, many such challenges are there, right? They even when some of my friends were discussing, right, number of cursor, they even watch the cursor movement also, right? They want, sometimes they want to check whether they are sleeping or not. Simply you might open the team meeting on, and sometimes you may go for some any other activities or something. For that they also observe it, for how much time your cursor was idle. Such inbuilt softwares were also, inbuilt technology were also made to monitor the working of the employees. right? And one more is that this whatever it is you are storing is low level data at the technical level of communication, which can be a proxy for the original intent of an interaction, right? The machine level language, what you store, what you write something, is the low level data, right? Sometimes it may even deviate from the original intent of the interaction or communication. And also you must have a suitable formalized encoding system for this online communication. And its semantic value in a collaborative environment are relatively unexplored, right? Formalized encoding means either if you want it in a audio form or video form or a PDF form or document form. So such things you must decide. And also semantic value. What is the naming you are going to give such files if you want to store such files, right? Many times thousands or 1,000, 2,000 files will be there in a big organization. In such an organization, how to retrieve that file, how to search for that file, right? In such case, naming formalities, naming semantics, right, will be different in different organization, different companies. Which folder, if you want to store a file, it should be stored in which file, in which folder, which drive. So everything is specified in multinational companies if you are working in a big companies. So for this one, Shannon and Weaver model is the most commonly used model. So which is shown in this figure. So here you can see that there is a information source is there, which is sent to the encoder. So what encoder will does, will high level language, if it is something it is there, whether it is video or audio, it will encode and it will convert into machine level language. Through the machine level language, through the different channels, it is sent to receivers. So during the transmission, there might be many noise sources might be there. So in order to filter such noise sources, you may have to use some filters to remove all the noise sources. Without the noise, it must reach to the receivers. In the receiver what it will decode the signal or it will decode the information and it will present to the destination. Either maybe it may come in your video screen or is through your phone speaker or mobile speaker. You may hear that one, right? This is the most famous Shannon and Weaver model. And for a real-time design research instrument, what is the real-time design research instrument? So for this one, you must articulate an extensible software architecture of distributed and loosely coupled sensors and monitoring components. Right? When we use the design research, this design thinking for design research instrument or interaction, digital interaction recording systems, right? So there you must have a suitable software architecture. The architecture of the software should enable the accommodation of the loosely coupled sensors and other monitoring components, right? Many times noise sensing we may use, or smoke sensing, or fire sensing devices, right? So these, when you want to use such systems as a research instrument, right? So those data sensors will record, and that record can be stored in the form of digital form. There are many softwares are there which will provide many functionalities to incrementally capture and investigate the detailed communication properties, right? Immediately during the course of collaboration, right? When different research teams are being involved, whatever the data they are collected, so they can capture and analyze, and even they can discuss with the other research teams or design teams, right? So this captured data must act as central point of access to information about how design team virtually communicate over time. Any design communication we make through the different team has to happen through a single channel. right? In companies, many companies, one post is called document controller. The name of that post is called document controller, right? Any document if we want to send to the client has to send through that document controller, and any data or information received from the client is sent to this document controller only. Again, through this document controller, it might be distributed to the consent team. That document controller will act as a central point of access. Right? For such things, many times we use Google Drive or Dropbox or OneDrive. Such things we might use for that one. For such distributed engineering design spaces, we are using the computer mediated team interaction systems. And this service approach to communication, capture, and analysis must facilitate a symbiosis between design practice and research, as shown in this figure, right? So this capture and analysis services system acts as a symbiosis between design processing and design research team, right? When there is any design is made, okay, through it is can be captured or it is sent to the capture and analysis service system. This will in turn send the information to the design research team. So design research team will check the information, it does all the check the quality parameters and all those things, right? If it is okay, it can even deliver to the clients, or you can even send to the manufacturing unit, or if it is not, the comments and all are given to the uh, design processing team through capture and analysis service. Then they try to improve with the comments given by the design research team. And again it is sent to the design research team to capture and analysis service team. So again, if the design research team finds it okay, it will send to the manufacturing team or consumer or distribution team to the consumers, or it may even ask for the further refinement. Like this, it is an iterative process till the final product comes. Right? For design researchers, the system acts as an instrument to collect data. A number of client applications may be utilized for channels and feed information about captured interactions to the services provided. Number of client applications. Right? Just now I told different storage system, Google Drive, OneDrive, or Dropbox. Similarly, different companies, they have a different subscription for different mail systems like Outlook or Gmail, Yahoo. Some such commercial system they may subscribe to. And at the same time, the services provide the functionality to measure trends and characteristics in the recorded events and to systematically explore the past and present of communication behavior in the observed teams. So here at the same time, right? So these softwares what we create will help you to monitor the trends and characteristics, right? Whether my design is progressing according to the time schedule we planned, or how much percentage of work is completed. If the required amount of work is not completed, what we can do to achieve the given target in time, right? So such things can be extrapolated from the recorded data, all those things, right? You can even put a chart or graphs, right, to convince some managing authorities, right, or investors. And also through the use of this technology, you can also develop the conceptual design methodology. So before it is sent for the testing. So this lead to a deeper understanding of relevant metrics in team communication. If you try to build any product or something virtual environment, in computers or 3D modeling softwares, you can have a outlook of the product or how the you may even have some fair idea of how the product may appear. From that, when you're designing such type of the product, you can also even understand what are the different parameters which may influence the design of such parameters, or you can also understand what are the different teams required and what are the different information which can be transferred from one team to another team, and what is the order of transformation. Right? Such things must be worked out conceptually if we have this such tools. Many times we also write flowcharts, business process model. Also, to do all those things, many softwares are available, right? Completing the symbiosis, the set of services can be iteratively refined and adapted to form the basis for improved guidance, management, and design process support. Right? There should be a good coordination between different teams. Right? So you iteratively you can with the help of the different team, research team and processes team, iteratively you can refine the product over number of cycles till you get a final product of which is having the utmost quality. Capturing design team activities. Right? How to capture this design team activity? For that one, you must have an appropriate data model to describe the individual communication activities of design teams. Right? You must have an appropriate data model. Right? If we have a level 1, level 2, level 3, different level of workers are there in a company. Each level of the worker, what is the data he is supposed to give, and what is the level type of the data he must pass to the other team. So what is the order of data passing, right? So from client, from the user, a design team will get the information, right? What is the requirement of the client, right? From here, data is flowing from client to the designer or the contractor. Sometimes in a big company, the owner of the company may get such data. From the owner of the company, it may be given to the contractor. From the contractor, it might be given to the design team. Right? And again, design team may also interact with the research team. That is the order of data model should be suitably developed to describe the individual communication activities. Right? Again, the second point what we discussed earlier, the systems what will develop must be flexible, and you must have a generic approach which supports real-time application in the diversity of existing and future IT supported design environments. So again, different approaches must be used. Generic different group of the different set of the approaches must be used finally before you round off to, or before you settle for suitable model, right? Before you are deciding, you must check various available different approaches, right? So when you designing a product, you are not only, your aim is, you don't usually have only one approach, right? You will take many approach, and from many approach you will select one good approach by understanding and studying all the pros and cons. Right. We'll stop the class here. So remaining thing we'll discuss in the next class. So just to brief, so today what we discussed here. So today we discussed about the second module, tools for design thinking. Here in this basic idea is what are the different tools we use when we in different for the interaction between the different teams in an organization, right? This is the goal of this chapter, right? And the data model, what is the process of data passing, the hierarchy of data passage, right? From where anything has to be done, from the management instruction will come to the principal, from principal it will pass to HODs to the faculties, and faculties will execute, right? One such example only. So this is right. Similar different companies also different models they might be having interaction models. So all these things, if we can capture digitally, or if you consider our university only, we a vice chancellor will call for a meeting of all the different heads, like research head or what we call the registrars, correct, register, different registers, academic register and examination section. For that one registrar might be there, right? Syllabus decide and all those things, one registrar might be there. So many such experts will be there, and he called for a meeting them, and if anything to be passed to the different institutions, he will pass it to the principals of the different various colleges. To the principal again, it is passed to the HODs in turn to faculties, right? From the faculties, if it is required, it is even delivered to the directly to the stakeholders also. Who are the stakeholders? The students or the parents, such things. So examples of this real-time interaction is many times you might have studied in TV, you might have seen in TV channels, right? TV debates, right? Many people sitting in different part of the country, right? They discuss with each other. Okay, you can see on the screen as if they are sitting next to each other, right? Those appearances are made. Okay, and we also discussed very famously uses Shannon and Weaver's model. We discussed here. A real-time design research instrument, right? For what are the how the interaction between research team and design team. Basically, it is the iterative one, right? And capturing design team and activities. For that, we must make a suitable data model to describe the individual communication activities, and this system must be flexible and must include generic approach. Generic approach must include the generic approach required to support real-time applications.